So it's been a while since I did a video, been a few weeks. Uh, I did say I wanted to wait until after the holidays, and I really wanted to stay away from the drama, even on my community posts, but that was a little hard to do. I mean, I could have done it, I could have had some self control. You're going to hear my doggies in the background, that's all right. But I was making community posts, and I've been pretty much just focusing on one thing, basically when I've had time. So, and I'm going to talk about it because that's what I do. No, I some can maybe say I'm a stalker. Again, I talk about behaviors. I have since day one. So, anyways, we have in this drama circle. Uh, well, you're stalking. Why are you stalking? Uh, you know, you're stalking my channel. You're stalking my community post. We have a lot of that going on. We have a lot of people going legal. Um, I mean, this is the drama community, right? But a lot of people are throwing out, I'm getting protective orders. I am suing you. It seems like everybody's suing everybody. Now, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes you have to do what you got to do. When people cross lines, you do have to go legal. Um, or they do something and you absolutely do have to call the police. I'm not saying you don't. But in my opinion, there's other cases that we have seen where I think, again, this is just my opinion, that um, it's not called for, okay? Um, our police are very busy and they don't need to be dealing with this YouTube BS. Now, again, if it's really necessary, if you feel like you're in danger, and who's to say if they feel like they're in danger? If you feel like you're in danger, you feel like you're in danger. But I'm sorry, some people, in my opinion, are just doing it for attention, or they're doing it to see if, I don't know, if maybe they can actually sue somebody and get some money out of it, or like I said, for attention, to see if maybe they can grow their channel. I don't know. Um, but we do know that sometimes you absolutely have to go legal on somebody because they are going way too low. So I'm not saying that, in all cases that it's not warrant to go legal or to call the police. But right now we're going to talk about To the Moon, because I know that this has been the main focus in this drama circle. We have seen this unfold for what, almost 2 weeks now, maybe 2 weeks. And I don't know much about To the Moon. I've seen a few videos. I do believe, people can correct me if I'm wrong, um, she used to be friends with Granny. She used to be friends with a truth teller. Um, I don't know a whole lot about truth teller. I've watched a few of her videos. Um, she used to be, or she is friends, or used to be friends with Natasha. People flip flop back and forth so much, or they lose friendships in this drama circle. It's really hard to keep up. It really is. But I have listened to some things, and I've went back a little bit and listened to some things too. And I do know, and now she's friends with and of course I've said that before. Um, if you don't like one person or the other, then you kind of congregate into this other community. Now, I still think that she is still friends with Natasha as well, because I did see Natasha go in there and try to talk to her and try to give her advice on this legal situation that she is doing. But what I am surprised about is Natasha did say that she has not been watching this back and forth and back and forth. And I can kind of see that because she has a new member in the family. And, no, I'm not, people could say, oh, you're talking about someone's child or grandchild. No, I'm just stating a fact. And when you have a new addition to the family, you might not be on the tubes as much. I have not watched too much on Natasha, but, she does have mods and she has eyes and ears everywhere. And I am sure that she is being told what is going down. Now, I know Natasha does not like Granny or Truth Teller. And what I am surprised on is she is not pointing out these lies, okay? And I get it. I don't know the backstory. Sometimes, and I said this before, sometimes it does not matter, okay? It does not matter what the backstory is. Because what you are doing right now, what we are seeing sometimes is so low that it just doesn't matter. Right? Because sometimes you can go so low, no matter what somebody is doing to you. I could be completely wrong in that. I can be wrong. That's just my opinion. Now, I have said from day one, I'm against bullying. I am against going after anybody's kids. I don't care who you are in this drama circle. I am against all this going after, going real life. I'm against digging up and even looking on Google or looking up somebody's criminal background or whatever, even if it is public information. This is, YouTube. Why do people think that they need to know everybody's personal information? Now, if a creator or even a sub, if they want to put it out there on YouTube for everybody to know, then fine. But to go digging, I'm not down with that. I'm not. But people think they have the right to know for whatever reason. That's you guys. If that's the way you guys want to play, even though you're grown-ass adults, and most of y'all are middle-aged, when you're in your 40s, even in your 30s, late 30s, you're basically middle-aged. You are. If you want to be frank about it, you are. Okay? Most are parents. Not all. Most are parents or grandparents, and this is how you act. But anyways, moving on. We're going to point out just the lies. Like I said, I don't know all the backstory. And some rotten things could have been done to the moon. I'm not saying that they haven't, okay? They absolutely could have been. And if they were, that is horrible. What I'm going to talk about is what we have seen, what I have seen with my own eyes, the lies in the last, 2 weeks. And I'm sure that there's been more of it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it all. Because I've said before, I do work outside of the home. And I do my side thing. And I have been going out with my real friends. I've been spending time with my family. And yes, I've said it many times. My children are adults and they live out of state, but I have a lot of siblings. I have nieces and nephews, so I spend time with my family. So I'm not on YouTube all the time, but I have been trying to listen because I like to hear it for myself before I talk about it. I don't like to talk about hearsay at all. I don't. Um, but anyways, that's why what I'm going to talk about here is what I have heard. And a lot of people have heard and seen with their own ears and eyes, and why people are still going with this BS is totally insane, okay? And I have made quite a few community posts talking about a few of these things. Now, like I said, I don't know what has been done to Moon. She talks about things being done to her a year ago and a few things that are, that are being done now. And she has, I guess, or she is trying to put an order on Truth Teller right now. And she says she is going to on Granny and Angela as well. And maybe some other people, who knows, okay? So she started a legal fund. And she wasn't getting any donations on the legal fund to begin with. She kept putting it up. And she is saying that she's in fear for her life. And she needs to hire an attorney to put the, to move forward, to put this into motion. I guess they both live in different states. Now, I do know for a fact that I have heard To the Moon talk about, and yes, I am going to be mentioning children now. And I don't want to get this twisted, because this has already been put out there, and I'm not talking negatively, about kids, okay? Because I don't do that. But you are going to be hearing me talk about what has already been put out there, okay? I have heard her say the most horrific things about Truth Teller's child that is no longer with us, calling her a murderer, saying things that I don't even know if how she would even know these things. Now, I want to say this, okay? I have heard about Truth Teller's toddler a while ago, because I seen the little clip video that Lindsay put out, because Lindsay would talk about it, and Lindsay put out the article about Truth Teller's toddler and what happened. All right, very disgusting. I don't care. I don't care the details. A mother lost her child. All right? Think about that. I've already said before. I've said it before in my other videos. My sister lost a child, and my brother lost a child. One to cancer, one to murder. The pain never goes away, no matter how many years. All right? Imagine that. It's totally different than not having your child live with you. I mean, that's got to be hard enough. I don't know that feeling, because my children always lived with me. And this is hard enough. My adult children don't live in the same state with me. All right? And that's hard. I'm an empty nester, and even though we video chat daily, that is so hard, because I'm so close to my kids. But I could not imagine not raising my kids when they were minors, and not having them in my home, not tucking them in bed, not going to their school functions, their activities, their plays, not doing homework with them, not cooking them dinner. I could not imagine. But it's totally different than your child never walking in the door, never coming back. But we have these women that want to put all this ugliness out on YouTube. For what? For what? Maybe some nasty things were said about them, maybe about their parenting. I get it. Okay, I get it. You might have been ticked off because things were said about your parenting, or maybe lack of. I'm hearing a lot of, my kids are being threatened. I don't know about all that. Okay. I do find that hard to believe, because a lot of people want to say my kids are being threatened just when someone says something about someone's parenting. Okay. I don't know anything about that. Like I said, I'm hearing some lies now, and if you're saying those are threats, then it makes me wonder what was said back a year ago, or what was said back, or whatever, to if you're telling the truth now. And a lot of videos are being put out, and look at these screenshots, and I'm sorry. Do I even believe screenshots now? Because we know a lot of you out there know how to fake some screenshots. So, do I even believe those? Can't say I do. From anybody really, because people can fake those things. But anyways, I'm gonna move on from that. Lindsay also put up that video, and she was like, and we all remember it, right? And she took it down for a reason. I don't know if it's still back up, but the fire trucks, right? The fire and all that stuff. We know what that was about. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. So she's been going on, Moon has been going on about TT and her child, and calling her the most horrific things, and saying, that she was, convicted and charged, and this and that. And I just want to say one thing. You can be charged with something. Absolutely. Just because you're charged with something does not mean you were convicted of it. Unless she has all her paperwork there, which means she really dug into her. Unless you have her paperwork there saying that, she went to prison and that she absolutely was convicted. I'm not talking about charged. Because in the beginning, before they investigate, they can look at something. They can absolutely look at something and say, okay, something doesn't seem right here. We're going to charge you immediately because something just doesn't seem right here. And they can charge you with it. And then, you have to get an attorney, and your attorney has to prove your innocence. And, the prosecutor has to try to, prove you guilty. And, you can take a plea, or, however it is. But, we have Moon saying that it's a fact that TT was, on drugs, or had alcohol, and yada yada. How does she know? Does she have a toxicology report? Was she there? Does she have any of this to back it up? Does she have records? Because I haven't seen, and I will never go and even try to look anything up, because that's none of my business. And she's trying to put this out there. And if TT ever wanted to tell her story of what happened, because I haven't heard the story of what happened. And it's her story to tell. If she ever wants to tell it. I don't know if she did tell it. I have no idea. Okay? She wants to talk about, how she catfished this person and that person. And this is all because, they were in love with the same, I guess he's another YouTuber, who knows? And this is what this is all about, and yada, 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 yada. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're making a lot of nasty, nasty claims that you better be able to back up, and not, oh, well, this happened a year ago, and my kids are being threatened, and I'm scared for my life, because it sure the hell does not look like you are scared for your life. And we're going to go over this in a minute. But we're going to point out, like I said, we're going to point out some lies here. Like I said, all this past stuff, I don't know. I can't talk about it because I don't know. I can only talk about what I do know, what I have seen. All right? Disgusting things coming out of your mouth. Now, I do know, because I did hear this. TT did say, I did bring up her child. I believe he's an adult child who's in prison for murder. After she kept bringing up my child, who was a toddler, who passed away in a tragedy. So TT did fire back, and I don't know if she read, I did not see that video. I did not see a video of her reading charges, or anybody reading charges. And this is To the Moon's words, so I'm not putting anything out there that was not put out there. Okay? But she did say her son is in prison for murder. Who she, I guess, claims is innocent. I don't know. Okay? That's none of my business either. But the fact is, it's a fact. Right? So TT did go there. Because the moon, To the Moon, was hashtagging her deceased toddler's name. And TT had enough of it. And I've heard in these past 2 weeks, we all have, right? Her talking about her child, her deceased child. And saying that TT's a murderer and killed her child. And she's also saying that the threat, the threat is because TT has said, you don't want this smoke. That is what she is taking as a threat, because she is telling the police, because we know for a stalking order or a protection order, there has to be a threat. Now, they live in different states, right? There has to be a threat on yourself. A physical threat. And To the Moon is saying there is. There absolutely is. Because, she's a murderer. She has had these charges on her. What about conviction? Okay? Two different things. But she had these charges on her, and then she keeps saying, you don't want this smoke. Well, if you take smoke and these charges on what happened, that's a threat to me. That's making me scared for my life. No, honey, it doesn't work that way. A judge is not going to twist things like a pretzel like a lot of people in these YouTube streets want to do. Okay? A judge is a little smarter than that. He's going to look at a lot of bickering hens. That's what he's going to look at. And a judge might also look and say, okay, well, if you were in fear for your life a year ago, why didn't you do something back then? We'll get to that a little bit later. So it seems to me that this started, I mean, it could have started way back. I'm sure it did a year ago, she says. But there was, I believe Angela tweeted, Team YouTube. Now, I've already said before, I don't have Twitter or Instagram or any of that. Facebook is enough for me, and YouTube. So, but something about To the Moon, because she was on one of her videos, and I did hear that, where she believes that it is okay for her to say the N-word. Yes, and she was. And sometimes she was saying it with the A, putting the A at the end of it. But she was, I'm sorry, I heard the ER too, right? But it's okay. And she said in a video before too, that she would call, you know, her children N-lets as a term of endearment. And now this is hearsay. I don't like hearsay, but this is what has been said, that she had her daughter, I don't know if it was on the phone or there, and she asked her daughter, do you remember when we used to call you this when you were younger? And her daughter said, no, don't remember that. I don't know anything, you know, if that's true or not, because I didn't hear it, and I don't like hearsay, and I'm not going to go back. And a lot of people like to hide their videos or private them or delete them. I don't know. I'm not going to even go try to look for that. But she did say, you know, that that's what she would call her children when they were younger. Now, Natasha got a lot of slack, right, for her niece saying, you know, well, that's what you call me or whatever. I mean, we never heard Natasha ever say that, but she got a lot of slack from everybody in the community, this drama circle, for that being said, right? But To the Moon basically thinks that it's okay for her to say the N-word, either with the A on it or the ER, because she has biracial children. And, you know, it's fine for her. And she even said, and I heard this, that, you know, where she comes from, you know, her friends or whatever, they're not going to care that she says that. They wouldn't care if she says that. Okay? She's a white woman, but she has biracial children. Well, you come where I'm at and go up to somebody and say it where I'm at and see what happens. Because that wouldn't be acceptable. Because, you know, just because you have biracial children doesn't give you the right to say it. Now, I guess the video that she did, that's the one that Angela tweeted to Team YouTube, right? Now, I've already said that I have a blended family. I have a mixed family. I have blacks in my family. I have Mexicans in my family. I have my nephew. His mother was from Thailand. I have Indians in my family. I have a blended family. All right. So, because I have biracial nieces and nephews, because I have a black brother-in-law, does that give me the right then to be able to say the N-word? Does that give me a free pass? Because, you know, I'm white. Does that give me a free pass to do that? Or is that only okay if I had biracial children? Because I know no one in my family, right? They don't say that to their kids. They don't say that to anybody. Because they know it's not right. And even on her video, she did it again. It was either, I don't know, she's put so many out. I think it was yesterday's video. She said the N word again. I think she put the A, or it was kind of a mixture of ERA. Okay? But the people that are supporting her, basically Likens community, right? They don't have a problem with it because they're only words, right? So she's like, I'm not racist. And that puts me in danger. That's inciting hate. Honey, you shouldn't be saying those words. You shouldn't be saying them. You're a white woman. You shouldn't be saying them. Period. And like I said, go up to someone you don't know that's African American and say that and say, well, I got biracial children, so it gives me a free pass to say it. See what they say to you. All right? So that's kind of what got this rolling here, right? She even says it is. And she has been going on and on and on, day and night, day and night, day and night, non-stop for almost 2 weeks, all through the holidays. All through the holidays. Now, Truth Teller and Jessica Lynn has not done that many videos. They done some, but not that many. But she keeps going on and on and on how she's in fear for her life and how her children are being threatened. Their lives are being threatened. She's coming up with the most bizarre things, right? We've heard it. Her supporters have heard it. Even Lycan said at one time, if you stream again about this, I can't support you. And I thought to myself, he's putting his foot down. He's doing the right thing, but he's right back over there. We'll talk about that here in a minute. A lot of the lies that she is putting out there is unreal. I mean, I wish I would have wrote them all down, but I didn't. I'm just going off of memory. Now, I think, again, this is hearsay. And I really don't like doing the hearsay, but I'm going to. Where she said that, she was having a hard time feeding herself. She's a waitress, and it's slow right now for waitresses. I have to say, no, it's not. I've been going out to eat quite often, going out with friends, out to eat, and the restaurants are booming. I mean, there is a line to just sit down and eat. All right? Everywhere we go. Everywhere. They're short-staffed. And that's not just where I live in my state. I'm hearing that everywhere. Right? Everywhere. My daughter was just telling me that too. And like I said, she lives in another state in a very small town. And they had to wait forever to be able to be seated. It's pretty booming right now. But we know that she couldn't. I mean, she's been on day and night. So in the last 2 weeks, we know she isn't working. She has not worked at all. She hasn't talked about working. She's talked about going to the hospital, to the jail, not the jail, I'm sorry, to the police station, to the courthouse, to this and that. She's not mentioned about going to work at all. Not a word. Not a word. So at least in the last 2 weeks, I'm sorry, but most waitresses, I think she, again, hearsay, said that it was really slow. Really slow. No, I'm sorry. Lie. Okay? Everybody that goes out to eat, no matter what state you live in, okay, even listen up, supporters of Moon, you know this is a lie. If you go out to eat, you know. I mean, even the fast food restaurants, they are like so understaffed right now. Some of them are even closing down early. They don't even have a lot of the different foods or whatever, the whatever that you're trying to order. They don't have the staff, even in the fast food, okay? But we know, I mean, we can almost say it with the fact, as much as she's been on, and community post after community post, she's not working. At least in the last 2 weeks. And you would think if you had a job and you don't work in the last 2 weeks, you would be canned, okay? But she said that these people, you know, I guess TT, Angela, Granny, that she had a job, another job or whatever lined up, and they called and said she was racist. She had another job, and I guess it was like an office job in administration or something. Someone else said that it was like a behavioral, I don't know. She's on probation, I don't know. But they said that she, you know, she's racist, so she got fired. Okay, first off, make this make sense? So anybody can just call your job, even if you just start one, and say, you know what? This person, you don't want to hire them, or, you know, if they already work there, right? This person is racist. You don't know me from a man in the moon, okay? You know, I could be a jealous ex. I could be just a friend. We had a falling out, right? But take my word for it. This person is racist. You don't want to hire them. So the supervisor or manager is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to take your word for it. You're right. I'm not going to hire them. There's no proof, no evidence, no nothing. Even though everybody is hiring because they're short-staffed everywhere. But you know what? I'm going to take their word for it. And even though I already hired this person, right? I hired them. And there's, if it was an administration job, I can guarantee you, if she got hired, they're going to go through background checks, drug tests, all that good stuff. If it was an administration job. That costs, you know, that's a little time, and that costs a little bit of money to do that. They're not going to waste their time on that and then just say, oh, I'm not going to look into this and find out where this came from. Or I'm not going to talk to this person and say, you know, somebody called in and said this. And then, you know, 2theMoon could have said, hey, I got a YouTube channel and I got this going on and these people are saying this stuff. I'm not racist. You know, I got biracial children. Not racist. This is just, you know, this is just garbage that they're putting out there. Well, what have I said? If it doesn't make sense, it's because normally it's not true. People are going to look into stuff like this before they just can somebody. I mean, come on, people, use your brains. Moon supporters, use your brains. So then, I'm sorry, to me, that's a lie. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. So then I was just listening a little bit tonight, and you can catch her in another live tonight, and then we're going to kind of work our way back. She did 2 videos today, right? She did one that was about an hour and hour and so many minutes, and then she did a short one The short one was about her wish list, about messing with her wish list. And what was it, like 5 minutes long? And the other one was, like I said, about an hour and some long. Her wish list one, she's saying somebody got in there and messed with her wish list. We're going to talk about that here in a second. You do have to bear with me. I've told you guys before why I lose my train of thought a lot. It's okay. I am educated. I am. I went to college. Doesn't make me any better than anybody else. But, you know, that Topamax is some evil stuff. I'm still on that. And I don't take notes. And I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just talking to my fireplace here. Fake fireplace. It's fake. It's electric. But anyways, it's kind of chilly. So, you know, I didn't do the beach scene. I should have done that. But anyways, when I was listening to that, I'm like, I was cooking dinner. And I had my phone just sitting there. And I was listening. I'm like, I just caught her in another lie. She said, because she was telling Granny, why don't you go get a job? I have a job. I don't beg people for money. I'm a waitress. I don't beg people. I work, which, like I said, we know she hasn't, no way, in the past couple of weeks. But she said in that long video, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was about the 20-minute mark, maybe 22-minute mark, something like that, that Granny was going on saying how, you know, people were calling her, you know, the town weirdo or something like that. I don't think Granny was, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think she was talking about Moon. Maybe she was. I have no clue. But, and she's like, you know, people really don't know me here. This is only a town of 600 people. And, you know, the police don't even know me here except the ones that, you know, this is the first time I ever had to call them. But I don't work in this town, and I've never worked in this town. People can go back and listen to that. She made both of those videos today. That was about, you know, like I said, about the 20-minute mark in, 22-minute mark in. She stated, I don't work in this town, and I've never worked in this town. I'm a waitress. Never worked in this town. Then that about 5-minute video where she's talking about the wish list, okay? She's saying somebody messed with the wish list. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, but I'm making a point here. She stated that, you know, people are messing with her wish list, saying they bought stuff and they didn't. Why are you messing with it? And you remember, and she's like, you remember what Granny did with Mama Knows Best wish list? And Granny's got a wish list and people buy stuff on her wish list with no problem, yada, yada, yada. She's like, I never had a wish list last year for Christmas. I had a hard enough time feeding myself, and I was working hours and hours and hours. And I'm a waitress, and, you know, waitresses, I only got paid 5 something an hour, and we work off tips. True. Waitresses do. I used to waitress back in the day. That, you know, I did some waitressing. I've done a little bit of everything. I worked nonstop since I was 16. My first job was a waitress. I got it on my 16th birthday. I guess it was a server. My first job was at Ponderosa. Okay. So, I don't know if anybody remembers Ponderosa. I don't think they're around anymore. I don't know. They're not where I'm at. But anyways, I got it on my 16th birthday. So, anyways, she said, but she goes, I don't make a lot of money because I only live in a town of 600 people. So it's not like a lot of people are coming in. Now, wait a minute, Moon. You just said on the other video that you made today that you never worked in your town. Didn't any of your supporters catch that? Let's back that up. You said in your long video at the 20-minute mark, 22-minute mark, that you never worked in your town. You're a waitress. You never worked in your town. But yet in your 5-minute video, you just stated that Christmas last year or whatever, that you didn't make much money. You had trouble feeding yourself because you're a waitress and your town's only, 600 people. Not a lot of people come in. Which is it? But you say you hate liars. You hate liars. You're going to call them out. You best call yourself out. Okay? That's the latest lie that I heard. You know, supporters of Moon, you hear this. You hear this. You have been seeing it for a couple of weeks. And that's why the majority of you are not donating to her legal fund. She had a big donation. Don't know who it was. None of my business. Don't care. But you know that's the reason why most of you are not donating, because you know this is all BS. The only reason why you're over there and you're supporting her emotionally is because you don't like TT and you don't like Granny. Right? So you're enabling this behavior. Now, she also has been stating, that they know about her daughter's computer. How do they know about my daughter's computer? It's kind of knowledge. It's knowledge. Again, if my words don't come out right, again, it's the medication. It's not that I'm not educated, okay? The majorities of the schools, and my kids are out of school, but I have grandchildren, they get Chromebooks, okay? The schools provide those. And they said Moon had a fundraiser back when, I don't know, I'd never seen that, have no clue, don't care. But that's how they would know, because, I'm sorry, it's not like anybody's hacking in. It's like this big old conspiracy thing. I don't know if people are feeding her this, have no clue. But all of a sudden, there's this big old conspiracy thing going on, right? Somebody hacked into her, some card, Cash App card, or some card around Christmas time, at Christmas or whatever. They got a hold of that too. Right? Convenient. See, that's all stuff that she'll have to prove to the judge. She can say all she wants on YouTube to everybody to incite hate, because she's the one that's doing it. She is the one that is going live multiple times a day and making community post after community post after community post. Not TT and not Granny. Granny's went live a couple of times. TT hasn't. I think Granny's went live a little more than a couple of times. TT hasn't. She has put this, she started this order on TT. It hasn't went in effect yet. Now, TT started a fund. She met her goal, right? And she's like, well, TT's got all this money. She's got all this money. Why does she need you guys to pay? Why does she need you guys to pay? Well, here's the thing. TT might have money. Who knows? She might, who knows? But the thing is when you are forced, when someone puts or files for a protection order, right? When they're saying some bogus crap, and you are forced to have to hire an attorney and pay money out of your pocket, then you can go to your community and say, hey, because, $1,500 isn't anything to sneeze at. Why should you have to, because it's YouTube stuff, right? It's YouTube stuff. So it's nothing to sneeze at. So if they want to donate her community, if they want to donate to this cause, they have every reason or have every right to donate. She has every right to put up that legal fund. But here's the thing about legal funds. If there's going to be a legal fund, and this is just my opinion, and maybe it shouldn't be my opinion, maybe it should be a law. Don't know if it is or not. I don't know how this works, or if it could be. I know how GoFundMe's are, okay? If you don't use the money on GoFundMe, if you say it's going towards, a certain thing, say, you lie and say that, someone's sick and they're not, yada, yada, or, some people say that they have, a house fire and they really didn't. They can get in a lot of trouble. That's illegal. Don't know about these PayPals when, you're doing these legal funds. But if you're going to do a legal fund, you absolutely should be transparent about where that money's went, right? You might not want to put your attorney out to begin with, because you're going to have a bunch of these crazies calling them, bombarding them, and they don't need that. They got other clients, they got other work, other jobs, and plus they're working on your case. You can maybe do that at a later date, but you can show receipts to show this is when I paid it, yada, yada, yada. We have some people that have done legal funds that have not been transparent. We know that, right? We have some that have been transparent. And Truth Teller was transparent, and she showed her proof on where the money went. Now, 2theMoon lied again. She said that Truth Teller, I'm going to call her TT, it's just easier. She lied and said that TT stole her attorney. I guess there's only a few attorneys in that town that that will do this kind of a case. It must be a small town. I don't know. Well, yeah, I do know, because I can't tell you what town it is, but sorry, hon, when you put that piece of paper out, you put that information out for everybody. When you put out that order, you put it out there, okay? But you said you did a live.